Danielle Bill with Melanin Mental Health and Ministry, and today is From Surviving to Thriving Thursday. So every second and fourth Thursday, we post a video about a mental health topic. Y'all see me being extra with my hands? Because of some nails.
So every second and fourth Thursday, we post a video on a mental health topic, and this week I really was stuck. I'm like, what will I talk about? And the Spirit led me to
self-care. And so typically I have a content calendar. And so for those who may not know, a content calendar is when you pretty much map out your posts for social media. And so typically business owners, entrepreneurs have a content calendar to help them stay on target or on focus as they post on their business pages. And so I have a content calendar. And so this week I did not follow it at all. And so this week I planned to make posts about Black women and anxiety, and so I ended up just posting whatever I felt in the moment instead. And so typically when I create my content calendar, it's spirit-led. So the things that is spirit-led, and so even me deviating from the content calendar was spirit-led, because it's never a good thing to become so process focused that you're not able to shift. And so this week I felt in my spirit to shift, and so I listened and I was obedient. And so another thing that I did this week, I deleted my Google Calendar. Yep. And so it bit me in the butt one time, only because my Google Calendar helps me to remember when to cancel those free trials. I don't know about you, but you be signing up for a little 30-day trial, and it gets you after them 30 days if you forget. And so I forgot, and my account definitely got charged, but guess what? I got my coins back, so I'm good. But yeah, so I deleted my Google Calendar because I did not want any alerts about anything business related. And so for me, my business is my ministry. And so I do not believe that ministry is limited to the church building. And so I take my business very seriously because it is about mental health and spirituality. And that is my being. You know, those are things that I love and that God has gifted me with the passion for. And so again, having to take my hands off, it's a challenge at times. And so I realized this week, I was like, ooh, I'm taking on some things that God never intended. And so I'm holding myself to expectations that I need to release. And so I didn't set any goals this week. Typically I set goals for the week, set no business goals. Nope. And then also I purchased a prayer journal like maybe 3 months ago. And so what I do, you know, I typically in this prayer journal, it has a section where you write 5 things you're grateful for. You say an affirmation and you write your prayer. And also you write down how you connected with God. And so this week I did not feel like writing in that prayer journal. I'm telling you, I had it beside my bed next to my pillow. Like, I didn't feel like it. And so I started to feel guilty. I'm like, dang, I don't want to write in my prayer journal. And then God reminded me, I never asked you to write in this prayer journal. This is something that you decided to take on. And so I was still praying verbally and even in the spirit with God and being in tune with the spirit. And so the prayer journal was just something that I wanted to invest in for myself. But God reminded me, release that. You know, release the expectations that you're placing on yourself. And so I didn't realize that I had made the prayer journal become a burden. And so even our good intentions at certain times can become burdensome. And so in that moment, I was like, wow, I had to release that expectation or and that standard that I set for myself. Not what God set for me, but what I set for myself. And so be mindful of that as well. Even the things that appears to be good, did God ask you to take that on? And if you're feeling guilt and shame, those are feelings that are not associated with God. They are associated with the enemy. The Holy Spirit will convict, but the Holy Spirit will not have us feeling guilty and guilt nor shame. And so remember that on your journey. And so something else I realized, I was like, I've become too consumed, like just with the business goals and just everything. And so even as an entrepreneur, I set schedules for myself because it helps me to measure my productivity. And so this week I was like, boom, I slept in, just did whatever. Like if I felt like chilling, if I felt like laying in the bed, that's what I did. And so 2 months ago, I graduated from seminary, which is divinity school, seminary. People call it a variety of things, but it's graduate school. And so after that, I just felt so relieved that I didn't have any required assignments, any group projects. You feel me? Because they can be a pain. Any assignments. And I was so excited that I had my weekends back. So for 3 years, my weekends were committed to school, to commuting and to school. And so I'm like, you know what? I have been just trying to bask in this new normal of not having school, not having to study. And after seminary, I have been leisurely reading. And so this week I said, girl, close the books. Don't read nothing else. No, chill. And so I closed the books. It was like, girl, don't work on yourself this week. You are enough. And so I want to encourage somebody who may be so consumed with becoming their best self, with healing, with a self-help, or some type of just trying to figure out how to become better, how to perfect your craft. Just appreciate you in the form that you are in today. You are enough. You are enough right now at this very moment. Not later down the road, not once you accomplish or check off the things on your to-do list, but right now. And so many times we miss the present moment because we are focusing on the next moment. So just be present, bask in just being, not becoming. Because again, we can become so consumed, and it's great that we are working towards becoming our best self and living our best life. But there's nothing wrong with just being. Like, I am enough. Like, what? Baby, I'm popping right now. Flaws and all, failures and all, stepping stones, obstacles. Like, I'm popping. In this present moment, I am enough. I love myself. And so just get to a place of appreciating who you are at this particular moment. There is something important about this moment. Don't worry about the next moment. Don't worry about tomorrow. Don't worry about next week. But this moment, who you are in this moment, it matters. And so also, I was just thinking about how sometimes we over-explain when we don't want to do something or we don't feel like it. And I want you to know that because I don't want to, it's a good enough reason, period. I don't want to, period. Sometimes we over-explain, and that's an indication of poor boundaries. And people will try to guilt you at times because you don't feel like it, because you are not giving them an explanation, and you do not owe anyone an explanation if you don't feel like it. So engage and indulge in your rest. It is important so that you can allow the Spirit to pour into you, so that you can be fulfilled to carry out the God-given mission that's on your life. And so how you gonna live out your mission if you're tired, you burnt out? Because burnout leads to irritability. You're not able to function at the capacity that you need to be. You may not be hearing from God clearly. That's when the enemy loves to run havoc, when we don't know how to sit still. And so in a society that glorifies workaholism, I encourage you to rest. Break barriers and rest. Really rest. I cannot stress that enough. And so many people lay down at night and they're not resting. And so they wake up in the morning, they're still tired, even with 8 hours of sleep, because their minds are still going. And so cut your mind off. Like, you have to be intentional. Like, nope, that's it. I'm not consuming anything else. No. And so again, rest is important. Self-care is important. I pray that it becomes a daily practice. It's not a one-time thing. It's a continual journey of learning, of switching, of nurturing and loving on you. So be willing to shift when necessary. Be in tune with the Holy Spirit. And remember that because you don't want to is all the reason that you need not to. Showing up for everyone else except yourself. Show up for you. And by showing up for yourself, that may be in the form of resting. It may be in the form of letting some people or some things go that are depleting you. And so that is okay. Self-care is not always self-indulgent behaviors. I know we love spa days. We love getting our nails and hair done. But that is not all that self-care is. Self-care may be doing what is difficult for you that's actually going to be more nourishing to your soul. And so love on you. Rest, lean into the Spirit, unplug, reconnect, God has called us to be good stewards, not just over our finances, but over the things that God has gifted us with. And so that means those relationships. Spend time with those that you love. Laugh, let go, like have fun. God did not call you to live a boring life. Period. God called you to live an abundant life, full of laughter and love. Get into this hair, y'all. Did it myself.